Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. The best that we can do right now for our virtual career expo for the education majors, specifically kind of geared towards early education and early childhood development. Um, we appreciate you all coming today, and we have multiple employers with us to give you some insight about the field and answer any questions you have at the end. But we really wanted to help students get a sense of some of the employers in the area and talk a little bit about the field and what it means to actually work in the major that you're working on right now. So we'll get started. We'd like the employers just to introduce themselves, and at the end of that, we'll get into our prompt section, just asking different questions that might spark some good discussion, and then we'll have a question and answer section at the end where students can submit questions in the chat box. Seems like we have a good amount, so it might be better if we use the chat box. So if the employers wouldn't mind just going around virtually, that is, and introducing themselves, we'd appreciate it. Would anybody like to go first? Sure. I saw Cindy's hand first. It doesn't matter too much.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, or evening. My name is Cindy Mauris. I coordinate the Staff Development Department at Anderson Center for Autism. We provide day and residential services for people on the spectrum, both children and adults. And I am happy to give you much more information if you like. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Cindy. Who's next, Asma?
Yeah, I can go next. So I'm Asma Siddiqui. I just want to thank you for having me. I'm the director of Hudson Hills Academy in Hudson Hills Montessori. We are 11 years old. We are based in Beacon, and we are a private school. We do have a Montessori program. We are Montessori based through elementary. Our middle school is kind of a combination of Montessori and traditional. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Joanne, would you like to go next?
Sure, thanks. Myself and Angela, my counterpart here, are here from Green Chimneys. We're so excited to be here. I'm a local, and I went to Dutchess Community College. So I did want to just introduce us. We are a special education school. We are located in Brewster, New York, and we actually are also located on an organic farm. So we use human-animal interaction and animal-assisted therapy and all that we do. We also have a bunch of different other programs. Angela, do you want to talk about those as well that we host?
Sure. My name is Angela Kandari. I'm the other recruiter at Green Chimneys. Very excited to be here today. So thank you for having us. Green Chimneys, we have a residential program which services children anywhere from 6 up to 21 years old. And we work with children with a wide range of disabilities. So they come to us, live with us, and we do have our farm, which is what we're well known for, providing animal-assisted therapy to our children. We also have a daycare program. We have a recreation program. We have a summer camp. So we have a lot of different programs that we recruit for throughout the year. So we look forward to talking to you about it.
Thanks. Thank you. Rita, did you want to introduce yourself for folks who may not know?
Sure. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Rita Woodcock. I'm the program chair for early education and an assistant professor at Dutchess Community College.
Thank you. Did I miss? I think I missed somebody. Did I miss anybody?
Michelle.
Michelle. Where is she? Ben, is she in the meeting?
She's on mute.
Oh,
Michelle Marassa.
Oh, gotcha. Hi, Michelle. If you wanted to introduce yourself, feel free.
You're on mute, though, Michelle.
So I know she's working. I can introduce her. I know she was at her desk. She might have had to step away.
Oh.
So I can introduce Michelle. Michelle is a full-time field supervisor and faculty member in the early education department at Dutchess Community College.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Ben, did you wanna move into the first prompts area?
Yeah, sure. All right, so now we're going to move into the prompted questions. The first question is going to be COVID related. So, how has COVID affected your company, and what has your company done to adapt? Joanne, can you start?
So actually, you know, as a silver lining of COVID, if that's possible, one thing that it's really caused us to do is make sure that our campus is really well connected, and the communication has actually even gotten better because we have multiple campuses. We have one in Carmel, and we have a couple different locations. And since there are several different departments, we really have we have a new text message system, and we've been extremely transparent about everything that's happening. So that's really been kind of a positive of what we've been doing to really take this all head on. Additionally, of course, we've taken every precaution that we can, and we're kind of staggered right now. But I think, like many other agencies, that piece of staying connected and still having an exciting, encouraging, and enthusiastic feel of how to help our students. Angela, did you want to add anything to that?
Thank you. Asma, would you like to go?
Yeah, in line with that, I agree. I feel that we have two campuses also, and I do feel that it has improved our communication between the campuses incredibly. I feel like we're in touch constantly now, as before we weren't so much. So I do agree with that also. We definitely have a much cleaner facility. We've always been pretty vigilant about cleaning, but now we have daily cleaning every single day, all day long. We have a full-time cleaner in the building. And so, you know, those kind of things. We have smaller class sizes. We have pods within each class. So, and those pods they remain together, which works out really well because today we just found out that one of our pods, a student in one of our pods' mother just tested positive for COVID. So now we are going to be closing that pod within the school for 2 weeks. So I do feel like it has forced us to review our policies and, like I said, communicate better, even with the parents.
Thank you. Sydney, would you like to answer the question about COVID and how it affected your company?
Certainly. And so I echo both Joanne and Asma's words in the sense that, you know, that enhanced communication. We've done a variety of things in reference to that, just the way in which we provide our services. We've had to move to a lot of teletherapy for related services. We have, you know, been holding constant all team member briefings on a very regular basis, as well as for the parents in our communities. It has forced us actually to move our desire to be more electronic savvy, if you will. And, you know, we have had, and for myself and the staff development department, it has been a total change from the type of services that we provide to the organization overall. My best day, I'm a Dutchess alumni. I did adjunct instruction there. I am from, you know, I got my master's through SUNY New Paltz. And, you know, my best day is in the classroom with our people. And it has really forced us to use Zoom and Teams and other types of electronic supports in that fashion. We have also, the pods, we've had to reorganize, if you will, the way in which our residential and our day services flow, if you will. I had said earlier that we provide support services for both children and adults on the autism spectrum. on our campus, which is in Staatsburg, New York, we have 15 residential houses, and the students who are there attend our education center as well. In the past, it was just like a small community, and the students from whichever house they may live in had gone to the classroom that was most appropriate for their age and, you know, their academic levels. So again, we've had to, as was spoken about earlier, kind of, you know, recreate that and assign little pods, if you will. So, I mean, to the advantage or the disadvantage, a lot of the individuals are needing to both live together and attend the educational facility. You know, on the positive, the teacher in the classroom oversees all of the folks who live in the particular residence, if we're talking about our children's program and your education majors. So, you know, that's primary. So, you know, the team is much tighter, if you will. There's a smaller group, and we provide, you know, multiple disciplinary approach, if you will. So it gives us an opportunity to, you know, instead of being focused across a large number of people, to pull that focus in to provide those individualized supports that's needed, if you will. So that's been awesome. You know, again, if there could be a silver lining to COVID, there has been a couple. Again, with pushing forward our tech, you know, and we've wanted to move some of our education and training in a virtual format. One of the positives for our team members is that they can now attend trainings remotely, all right? We also have day students that come in, even though there have been restrictions in reference to outside folks coming into our campus, we still have been able to include them in the services, so that has been great. You know, the enhanced cleaning, although, you know, cleaning and safety and all that is always in the forefront of our minds, that's really stepped up tremendously. On the other side of it, though, our folks are not permitted to, you know, have the free mobility in the community that we are always used to. Community integration and, you know, networking partnerships has always been something really important to us. So that's been something that has been a little bit of a challenge for us. But we are being creative in how we are able to, you know, continue to provide the connections, the supports. And again, the virtual world is kind of where that's at these days. So it's got its pluses and minuses to it, if you will. We've just reopened our intern program. That's something that I take point on. And, you know, when COVID first began in mid-March, we literally had to shut that right down, but we have just reopened it. We, you know, have all of the safety measures in place as far as the masks and the social distancing. But there is hand sanitizer stations in even in the bathrooms. It's a little crazy, you know. We do the temperature checks and all, whether you're talking about our students or our team members, everyone is required to do that on a daily basis. So I feel like it's really, you know, heightened our attention to the safety, the security of every single person involved in the program. I do a pre-screening even with the interns, even prior to them walking on the campus, and making sure that they're really comfortable with, you know, the environment as well. And I'm sorry, I always have too much to say. And just one more thing, you know, it's also given us an opportunity to venture out and look at other opportunities or things that we've been wanting to get involved in. And I'm really pleased to say that we have just secured a partnership with the Pine Plains School District. And we are in the very near future going to be having 2 special education classrooms in the Cold Spring, I can't remember the name of the school, pardon me. But the team members that work there will be employees of Anderson. They're just going to be in another location. So again, it's got its ups and downs, and, you know, we'll just continue to flow forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was wonderful, and we appreciate you sharing that. And it was actually a pretty good transition. I think you remarked on it about you having your intern program opening back up. Just curious if any of the other employers want to just comment about how COVID has affected their ability to hire new people and what the outlook looks like for folks joining the field now.
I can speak to that. For us, we are actually not hiring anyone right now, specifically because we want to maintain just the staff that we have, and we don't want to have anyone that's not full-time staff coming in and out of the school. So that also relates to the specials that we typically offer, like music, art, and Spanish. We used to have specials teachers coming in to teach special subjects. So this year, the teachers have had to step it up and, polish up on their music skills and their artistic skills, and so that's for us. Unfortunately, we've had to kind of hold back on that, but that doesn't mean that by spring we won't be looking for interns.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that's a good point. That maybe some places are not ready yet, and I think it's probably safer that you don't have folks that come in now, as you said, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And did you want to add anything to that, or?
No, I think that like I said, with our hiring process, we were just right now we're on hold, but probably pick up in spring.
Well, we really appreciate you all answering those. It's tough to even talk about it. Joanne, did you have something you wanted to add? I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We do have a few internships running right now. We do have our recreation internship. So because we do have residents on our campus, we still want to make sure that they have the experiences that they need to really thrive in the educational setting we provide. So we do have of that. So that means, they do sports still, and we're very vigilant about what needs to happen to keep everyone safe. And which is really great. So we use the therapy with them recreationally. We also have art therapy. So we have art therapy internships happening right now. We have social work internships happening right now as well. And then we also, for our January internships, we actually have our Sam and Myra Ross internship, which is heavily focused on using those animals in an educational and a kind of a healing way. What we do have in place as well, though, is if there was a need, we could easily switch to virtual if it was for some reason unsafe to continue in the manner that we're doing. So we are still trying to move forward with our internships, and hopefully we can get in full swing soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fairly good point to turn to our next section of questions that kind of deal with just talking more about the various positions and different pathways that students can go down in terms of your area of work and maybe other area of works that you are aware of. So we'd probably ask the employers to think about what types of jobs opportunities does your agency offer, and then what kind of what room for growth does exist within your area of work or your company?
Yeah, I would definitely be willing to speak to that from Green Chimneys. I think I'll focus on our K through 12 special education school at this point, since these are education majors. So we have a wide variety of roles within our K through 12 school, from a one-to-one aide, which would be working with one student on an individual basis within the classroom setting, teacher aide and teacher assistants, and then wide range of different teachers. So we do have a bunch of subject matters that we have specific teachers for, as well as special education teachers. And we do have some really interesting teacher roles as well, like a wildlife teacher, a garden teacher. So we do have some interesting, unique roles as well. But speaking to the growth opportunity within Green Chimneys, there is a lot of room for growth, especially within the school. We have had quite a few employees come in as one-to-one aide or teacher aides and either get their teacher assistant certification or go on to be, enter into a master's level program to become a special education teacher and obtain that certification. Just recently in the last, I want to say 2 months, we promoted a teacher assistant who is very close to completing their special education teacher master's program to be certified into a teacher role. So we do that frequently and often, as we can, and we do heavily promote from within because we want employees to stay with us and the longevity. We feel really strongly about our family-centered environment and those opportunities to grow with us. So I do want to speak to that. Thank you.
And just to add as well, and even Angela actually took advantage of this recently, is that we do encourage that educational piece as well. So we do offer tuition reimbursement for either undergrad or master's level. So we offer that as a reimbursement. And then after you graduate, we also just put money in your paycheck afterward to help pay back any student loans. So there's a special program for that as well. So we really do want to encourage that growth, as Angela had said. And because we are a campus, you also do get to interact with a lot of different specialists as an education, in the education world. So you would get to meet with all the school psychologists and the psychiatrists, and we have social workers and counselors and farm workers and all these different, people that are really masters in their field. And I think that really lends itself to really allow our employees to explore other avenues and kind of consider maybe how they might want to grow. So that's just another piece of how Green Chimneys is a little unique.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So I'd love to, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Asma.
Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Cindy.
no, I didn't want to interrupt anyone. I actually just wanted to mention because we actually currently have one of your students who is working at Hudson Hills, and it is her second year here. And she's an education student at Dutchess. So I figured this would be a good opportunity for me to mention that. She started last year working in middle school as a teacher's aide, and she worked with a specific group of children that were kind of needed a little extra help in math and science. And this year she's been promoted to teacher assistant. So just to speak to the growth, I think if for us, our overall philosophy as a Montessori school is that you follow, everyone is an individual and you follow the child. So for us, our curriculum is very individual and it's based upon each child's individual needs, as opposed to how old they are or what grade they are in. And so for me, it was very important to hire somebody who understands and who is able to differentiate and really understand what each child's potential is and be able to cater to that. So our teaching style is a little different. And she definitely, she grew up as a Montessori student, and so she's really grasped that. So there is definitely a lot of growth opportunity at Hudson Hills. But in order for you to be a head teacher at Hudson Hills, you do need to not only have your bachelor's degree, and it doesn't have to be in education, but you also need to have your Montessori certification. And there's various institutions that you can acquire that from. So I just wanted to throw that in there, and I hope I answered your question there.
No, certainly. Yeah, thank you.
So at Anderson, first of all, that what you're talking about now, this topic is something really near and dear to my heart. I started working at Anderson in 1988 when I was a student at Dutchess Community College. And, throughout the years, the organization has provided me with financial support. They tend to be very flexible with schedules. The largest number of team members in our workforce is our direct support professionals, and those are the people who are right there on the front line. Even though we have some direct positions that are titled teacher assistants, or we have certified teaching assistants as well. Again, that financial support is there, so we have excellent educational incentives programs. You know, and it's not really a full reimbursement, it's a give back, if you will. And so for undergraduate, it is $100 per graduate, per credit hour. For graduate, it's 150. We recently have just changed that whole approach and turned it into a scholarship program in the effort to make that tax free for our people. So that is outstanding. You know, again, for me, as I moved through my own education, I had been able to move into different positions that have helped for me to really look at the organization from a full perspective. I worked in the speech language department for about 5 years. I've done residential. I've worked in the education center. Now in staff development, again, always advocating and looking for ways to increase the salaries of the people on the front line, because it is never enough for people who do such incredible, important work. So, you know, in the past 20 years, I've been in the staff development department, pardon me, and a lot of the effort of myself, and I have a team of 4 other people who I supervise, we've put a lot of time and effort into creating all kinds of different career paths. So whether it is, you know, the IT, or it's in management or leadership or nursing, but also in education. And so folks come in, you know, our team members, and they start on whatever level they're on. Their salary is going to be in line with their education and their experience. As they continue to move through and acquire credits from university, we are able to give them at different increments a financial increase, as well as when they complete that. Again, the career paths for the TAs, or the teacher assistants, if you will, they, you know, we support them in acquiring all of the different pieces that they need to get their New York State teacher certification. The agency also will pay for some of the different pieces, like the fingerprinting, if you will. One other thing that I think is really wonderful about Anderson is that, first of all, our mission is to optimize the quality of life for people on the autism spectrum. But when you look at it from a staff development or human resource perspective, this is about optimizing the quality of life of our entire team, because it will eventually come back to the services that we're providing. So again, we really put a lot of time and attention into how we can support our frontline people and help them to follow what their passion is and what they want for the rest of their lives. Again, rewarding them financially, whether we're talking about people who have come in and move up through their programs, or even interns. A lot of the team members that we have are people who have started here and have been able to, again, get all of the credentials that they need and be able to move into a higher level position. And I also want to add that we provide services with an ABA approach, or applied behavioral analysis. And so we also have training and support available for all of our team members, and some of our education people have pursued registered behavior technicians. So that's like an entry level in the BCBA certification. We kind of have some teachers who we're kind of referring to them as unicorns, if you will, because of the dual certifications that they have. We have incredible partnerships with a lot of the universities in the area, as well as beyond. So just as an example to you, well, Dutchess Community College, of course, we've had an ongoing partnership with for a very long time, but there are other universities in the region where we have been able to work out some incredible discounts for our people. And one of them that is more at a higher level, Manhattanville College, we are offering courses right on our campus with a 50% tuition discount, and that's for a master's level or for a certification in ABA. So again, we are wholeheartedly dedicated to, providing paths for all of our people, regardless of where they want to go, and then helping them to find a way to do that. So I do a lot of career counseling, if you will.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It sounds like you're very good at it too. And um, Ben, did you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Before I go on to the next question, are there any other employers that would like to add anything? Okay. So the next question is, what kind of experience is required for any entry-level positions at your company? And what would be the best way to find out about any updates or opportunities from your company?
I can start that. For us, I guess the most when I interview someone, or when somebody calls here or inquires about possibly interning or working here for a position, perhaps the first thing that we look for is passion, commitment, and a genuine love and understanding of working with children. We all know this is not a money making field, and this is a field that you go into because you have a passion to make a difference with children. So that's primarily, obviously, the first thing that we do look for. But in terms of experience in education, we often get students that are working towards getting their bachelor's, and they are just looking to make some money on the side and get some experience. But to me, I think it's not so much education based as it is based upon your experience and your motivation to become a good teacher, and so those are things we look for. But the bachelor's is definitely something that we want them to get, and the master's is definitely not necessarily in private schooling. I know in public schools that they require that, but we certainly don't.
Who's next?
So for us here at Anderson, it really depends on the type of position that you are seeking, what the basic requirements are. And I absolutely agree with Asma's words. It's about the passion and the drive that you have. We love to see people who have that motivation. We love to see some kind of experience in working with people in general, because even though we provide support services to a very specific population, just dealing with people in general gives you a lot of experience, whether you have worked in the bank or in retail or whatever. So some kind of work in just providing supports to people in general. Of course, the degrees are something that we love to have, but it's definitely not a requirement. But again, it depends on the kind of position, because if we're talking about a special education teacher, they need to have that master's in special education. If you're looking at going into a clinical position, you definitely need to have the proper credentials for that. But again, the majority of the positions that we have are on the direct line. And again, the career paths are in place to help each of our team members get to a place they want to be in their future. So it's open, it's wide open.
How about you, Joanne or Angela? Did you have anything you wanted to add to this question?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say I definitely agree with what you both said. Definitely a passionate field. There's no doubt about that. For us, depending on the role, it would vary. but our entry-level roles don't require a bachelor's degree necessarily. An associate's degree or a high school diploma would be sufficient, as long as you have the drive to obtain those certifications and those degrees, but which we certainly, as we already discussed, would help assist you to do and assist you with continuing that education piece. And then obviously for our clinician positions, we would require those specific degrees and licensures. But we do have some great internship programs that can help you get there. And we also have a lot of assistance even to obtain those certifications. So those would be, but I would say definitely more the characteristics are more important than even the education in most cases, because of that passion and that drive to help. Joanne, do you have anything to add? Right.
We that I think that's a good kind of transition for one of my next questions for folks was, as you all said, that it's passion driven. It's not necessarily a place where you want to work to get rich. What keeps you motivated? What I know as a student probably looking to get into the field, what's going to keep them motivated? What keeps you driving every day? And then what are some of the general like walls that you come up against and challenges that you face, would you say?
If I can go ahead and answer this. What motivates me as a teacher, and I would imagine would motivate most teachers, is just being around their students, being able to make that difference, seeing them grow. We're more than educators, and I know everyone here can definitely agree. As a director, I'm a director, but I'm also a teacher. I'm primarily a teacher. For me, it's making that difference when that child gives you that card or tells you that thank you for being there, and thank you for helping me with this. And we have alumni that send us their report cards from high school. We have students that are in college now that still come in and visit us on their days off. And to me, that's what it's about. And there is no greater motivation than that. Like I said, this is not a money-driven career. You have to have that innate passion and desire. And to me, that is the motivation, and that's what keeps me going. So was there a second part to that question, Michael, or was that?
Essentially, just basically like what keeps you motivated and some of the challenges, I guess, that would deter that motivation.
Right. I think because we're a private school, we the students here for the most part are somewhat privileged. So unfortunately, we don't always get to see some of the students that really struggle socioeconomically or in other ways. I'm not saying our families are well-to-do. A lot of them make sacrifices to send their children here simply because they're struggling in the traditional environment. Their needs are not being met for whatever reason. I think, as we said, each child is different. Each child learns differently. Certain schools work well for some children, and some schools don't work well for other students. So, but we've had all kinds of students here. We've had students that have gone through a lot of emotional challenges, even physical challenges, and just being able to provide that support. Both my children are older now, so for me, it's a great welcome. Our school has a toddler program, and we go all the way up to 8th grade. So we definitely get a wide range of children, and I can honestly say it's just a pleasure coming here every day and getting and I'm sure you guys can all relate to this. Good morning, Miss Asma. Good morning. That it's just a great feeling. So I feel honored and blessed to be able to do this.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to go?
Yeah, I'd love to. First of all, I just want to throw out that you could look at different positions available at Anderson on our website. And I wanted to say, Benjamin and Michael, feel free to give my contact information to anybody who will have it. I'm happy to send you a direct link to that. So that, and what keeps me going, what motivates me, I am excited about the work that we do. I love to have an opportunity to touch the lives of people um, from the perspective of training our team members or providing the educational supports or whatnot. It is, I am so excited when people are able to find a way to find or follow their passion. Sometimes as a young person or myself, I didn't come from privilege. And so it was all about scholarships and how can I get to where I want to be. And sometimes not even knowing what that was or where I was going. But I love that. I love to help people, again, identify and follow that passion. When we're talking about the folks that we're supporting asthma, yes, I totally echo that. Those just when you see them do something that they couldn't do before, and the joy on their faces, and just what they feel and their enthusiasm, that excites me. um, so that's important. And that there is not money in this field. I mean, I think I work in the human services field more than just specifically education, but I am always confused about the priorities in our land, and why educators don't make a better salary. I do want to say also that Anderson has been in this particular location. It's Anderson Center for Autism now. It was Anderson School in the years in the past. And Dr. Anderson first came to this site in 1924. So we have a very long history of providing services to people who face various challenges. We have an alumni association, and it is wonderful. They have a Facebook page. There's a text where they're always texting back and forth to each other, and hearing about the wonderful outcomes that they have been able to achieve in their lives. Just that's what keeps me going. The challenges, again, the money, it's there's not a lot of money out there, but those of us who work in the field or behind the scenes are always fighting very hard to increase the salaries of our team members. Yeah, I personally have hit a glass ceiling, if you will, with my education, and needed to continue on. And so that's just one of the things. But again, love what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Joanne?
Sure,
you
I can chime in as well. So I'm actually in human resources, so I'm one of the recruiters, but I do have my master's in education, and that's why this was such a great fit for me. But one of the things about who we hire is that you really have to be true to yourself. And so I love that about our campus, is that children can really call you out, and they'll know if you're being insincere. They know your weaknesses. So you really do have to be true to yourself. You really do have to make every day kind of a good day and share that part of you. So I love being on a campus that does that. And I also like to be supporting the employees through our campus. So we do have just all these extra tools in our toolbox for our teachers, since they can go and walk a dog with our students, or if the student's really, really having a challenging moment, they can go on one of our trails, or they can go take care of the horses. And it's all about being mindful of the moment. And sometimes that's really challenging for a lot of our students, is being in the moment, or experiencing emotions, that they're experiencing an emotion in a positive way. So to be on a campus that really reinforces that, and really gives the teachers and the TAs and all of the staff the ability to do great work with these extra supports in place. So that's really exciting to be part of that. And then just to have that sense of community, that you really do have to work together. Even in human resources, I'm constantly working with the farm, and I'm constantly working with social services, and I'm constantly working with recreation and food services. And so we're really connected to all different parts of our campus. And that's, it's great to see different types of careers grow. But I think you can see that specifically in education, because there is a lot of specialties that work with the same children. And then it really feels like teamwork in the end.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Um, in the interest of time, and just to make sure that we can have some time for students in case they have questions. Um, for the students that are participating, if you want to ask a question, if you could just type it into the chat box, um, we can read it for the employer. And while they're doing so, I guess I would just ask the employers as well. Do you have any advice, just off the cuff, of what you would offer a student coming out of school, or while they're in school still, in terms of preparing to join the field or anything like that? And like I said, students, you can feel free to um, put a question in the chat box or what have you.
Yeah, I think what I would, my advice, if you will, or suggestion to students is to really think about what you're passionate about and what motivates you. And I also think, especially my experience working in the field, even though I do work in human resources, doing the hiring for all of our education staff, is I would encourage you to look beyond the number of a salary or the number that you would get paid, and really look at the value. And look at what you aspire to do and think of it in terms of that would be my biggest advice and suggestion.
And I just wanted to butt in, Rita and Michelle, absolutely feel free to chime in if you have something. Um,
Thank you, Angela. Those are great words. And I totally agree with that. If you follow your passion, you're going to love what you do every single day. And I don't know if I'm playing a head game with myself or not, but I am so rich in the world that I'm in, and what is around me, that it's not about the money. It's not about that. In addition to that, I was a student part-time for 17 and a half years, from my associates through my master's. I just kept right on going because I was afraid if I took a break that I just would be exhausted and unable to continue. And so I just took a lot of deep breaths. You know, I also love the Career Counseling Center at Dutchess Community College. I had a horrific day one day. I was on my way into class, literally in tears, going, what do I think I'm doing? You know, and I found myself in the Career Counseling Center because I saw a sign, and they were so amazing that they were able to provide me with just an opportunity to talk about what I was experiencing, and calm me down and get me to a place where I was actually able to go to class. They also did the interest inventory and a whole bunch of different types of tests where I just had to, fill in the dot or whatever. And then so much information came back to me, and I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. And I just cannot thank them enough, because it made such an incredible difference for me that day and into the future. So stick with it, take a breath, and go see the career counseling folks. They're awesome.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a perfect time just to remind folks. Earlier today, we had a resume and cover letter workshop with our very own Joe Riley and I believe Jeffrey from the Writing Center. Um, they held a Zoom meeting as well, and students could sign on and have their workshop or have their documents workshop with them. But if anybody would like information or how to sign up for an appointment, either with the Writing Center or with Joe, they can feel free to email me or Ben. We can get you connected with him. His name is Joe Riley, Joe.Riley or Joseph.Riley at Duchess.edu. He's really good. He's willing to meet with students about resume, or as Cindy said, talking about taking that inventory to learn more about yourself and what you might fit for in terms of a career. Um, we have a question from Sana, I believe. She's asking, or he's asking, what was the transition like from being a student to becoming a teacher? Just wonder because you spend a chunk of your life as a student, and then to become a teacher must be something of a transition. It's a good question. Yeah. Would anybody like to answer that?
It's definitely very rewarding, and it's nice to be able to be on the other end, and kind of see what it's like to be a teacher, because as a student you sometimes think your teacher's being unfair, or you don't agree with something they say. I think one of the things that we really pride ourselves here, and especially our middle schoolers, they come in the office, not recently because of the COVID, but typically they had full access to the office, or to myself, or to my office manager here, Laurie, and where they would come in and dispute some of our daily, I guess, or we don't have enough recess time. We have too many tests, and we have this and we have that. So I think that what I learned and the things I didn't enjoy as a student, I try to put myself in as a teacher in their shoes, and try not to overwhelm them. You know how you have 3 different teachers assign you a project the same day, which is due the next, so if they say to me, well, we just got assigned 3 projects today and all due. So we try to be considerate of all that. One of the things I do as a director, because everybody dreads the principal's office, so what we do here is, if we need to speak to a student, we go to that student. We don't have them come to the office, and even pre-COVID, because we didn't want them to think that the office was the scary place. It should be a place they can feel that they can go to talk to us, and not be punished. Or so for me, I think it was a good it was good for me to have experienced the other end, to be able to be a better teacher. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I love that idea of breaking down the myth of the administrator's office.
Yes.
I just wanted to add that, and I'm more in adult education. I'm not a teacher in the sense of providing the supports to our students. I do that for our adults. And one of the things I absolutely love is that I continue to learn every single day. And that is an amazing thing as an educator, and keeping your mind open. And wow, there's so much to learn in this world that it never ends. And I love to learn through other people's experience, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Um, Nicole wants to ask, do any of you have current Dutchess students who were former early childhood education program students working with you or working for you?
We want to.
What's
At
that?
Anderson, we do have a handful of students who did the early education through Dutchess. And they just continue. They continue.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's definitely a good starting place. It sounds like, and it sounds like there's plenty of experience out there for students to get. Um, before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask if do any of the students have any other questions they want to ask? Feel free to like unmute yourself. You don't have to like stay muted. You can even ask the question. Ben, did you have anything that you wanted to add at the end here?
Um, Not that I could really think of. We asked a lot of questions today, but
Oh, go ahead, Ben.
just would like to say that, thank you everyone for coming. Students, if you have any questions, even after the event, feel free to contact me or Michael. We can answer any questions you have. Employers, if you could insert your contact information within the chat for students, that would be awesome. Everything is recorded, so we'd be able to give you this video. If you missed any notes or anything, you have access to it later too. But if any students have any questions, now's the time.
Yeah, for the students here, you could just let your other other students know that the video will be posted on. It should be posted on the ACT Center's YouTube channel. So we'll have that up momentarily. All right. Well, thank you so much to Joanne, Asma, Cindy, and Angela, and thank you for Michelle and Rita being present. We really appreciate you having you guys here. So I hope everybody has a good rest of their night. And thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much, and good luck to all you students. We'll be looking for you in the workforce.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much again.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.